Hi, I'm Thomas Marshall, game designer with Turtle and Phoenix Entertainment. We're currently working on Djura, tabletop role-playing game with a heavy narrative element where you could play as any animal you want in a fantasy science fiction setting in the world of Aloran, a place that's been beset by the Shadow Veil, a terrible event that happened hundreds of years ago. But for today, we're just going to be talking about game mechanics, specifically narrative dice. So buckle up, we've got a lot to talk about, and let's have some fun. First is the six-sided natural dice. This represents the natural unskilled attributes of the characters and are used by game masters in simple challenges. After that, we have the skilled dice. These purple dice, 10-sideds, represent the practice skills of the characters have learned and are used by the game masters in moderate and difficult challenges. After that, we have the red professional dice, D12. They represent the professional skills of the characters and are used by the game masters in hard challenges. Finally, we have the critical dice, black D8s. These are bonus dice that are added to dice pool checks depending on what you roll. Okay, so now let's go over the 5 different symbols. The first symbol, this diamond, is a success. Whoever has the most successes in a single dice checks win. Ties are won by whomever is considered the defender. The next symbol, a karma, represents a positive story effect that the players can determine. This is the special spice that gives Djura's narrative dice the meaning. If you roll 2 karmas, those automatically get converted into a single success. If you roll 3 karmas, those 3 karmas automatically get converted into a critical success. The next symbol, represented by an Ouroboros, is the Rejuvenation. Rejuvenation represents recovery and reduction. The first thing it can do is it can reduce an opposed dice check by 2, which means if an opposed dice check against you rolled 2 successes, you could use this Rejuvenation to take away those 2 successes. Or if the difficulty was 3, you can use this Rejuvenation to reduce 2 to make the difficulty 1. The second thing the Rejuvenation does is that you can use it to regain aspect points, and we'll talk about that in a minute. The next symbol, the 8-pointed star, is considered a critical success. It counts for 2 successes, plus you get to roll a bonus critical die. The final symbol is the legendary success. It represents an amazing and unlikely result. With it, a player gets 2 successes, plus there are some added effects, but the coolest one is that you can add a skilled dice to the table that other players can share. There's no limit to the number of shared dice that you earn from legendary symbols that can be added to the game. Okay, all that's left are combination symbols. These are symbols that are just like the other symbols we saw. First one is the double success. 2 little diamonds equal 2 successes. The next combination symbol is a combination of the success and karma, and it looks like what I consider a bowl of ice cream or a bowl of cherries. The next combination symbol is the success and rejuvenation. It's just a success inside of a rejuvenation. And finally, the last combination symbol is a critical success inside of a rejuvenation. Let's try a couple of different dice rolls. So this is Tony-tailed Tilly. She's our resident treasure hunter squirrel. And right now she's been tied up. She got herself into some trouble and she's tied up. And she can't quite reach down and gnaw at it with her teeth. So she's going to try a traditional escape artist route. Tilly's player character would say, hey, I'd like to try to wriggle out of these ropes. So I would say, okay, well, that's an agility skill. Okay, you're trying to escape arts, which is, under control. So we'd look and we say, hey, how many dots in agility do we have? We have 1, 2, 3 dots. And so for each of these dots in agility, those are your natural ability, your agility, right? So we would start creating a pool of 3 blue dice. And I say, well, do you have the specific skill of escape arts, which is a specialization of control? We look down here. She happened to have spent some time wriggling out of ropes. So we have 1 level in escape arts. So what we do, since we have a single dot in escape arts, we replace a single die with a skilled die. We upgrade them. So in the Djura system, we upgrade dice. Okay? And then I would say, okay, Tilly, well, it's not too bad. So it's going to be a challenge rating of 2. You need 2 successes or more to wriggle out of those ropes. Okay, let's roll the dice. All right, let's see what she got. She has 1 success. That's the diamond here. She got 1 karma. But over here, it's that combination symbol of success and karma. So that's 1, 2, plus the 2 karma automatically convert to a success, remember? So that's 3 successes. Tilly escapes from the ropes. So let's say that Tilly didn't roll that. Instead, she rolled this. A success, a karma, and a blank. Okay? She did not succeed in her dice check. She failed. She is still bound in ropes. Okay? But as the player character now, you get to decide a positive story action. The positive story action isn't something like, well, the ropes just are loose. That's not how this works. But you get to decide something interesting around you that happens. You might say, well, while she's struggling, she accidentally knocks into a shelf and a mirror falls off the shelf and shatters on the ground. And now there are broken mirror pieces everywhere. Now, the mirror didn't exist before. You, as the player character, came up with this, came up with the story. You still haven't escaped, but a positive story thing has happened because now maybe you can use those mirror shards to help you escape. Okay, let's do one more dice check. So we'll say that Tilly's escaped from her ropes, and as she's escaping, she notices one of the goons is walking by, and she fails her prowling check, and he notices her. So thinking on her feet, Tilly comes up with a lie. Hey, the boss just let me out. He says I can join your crew. Okay, so as the game master, I would say, well, that's a lie, because the boss never said that, but that's a cunning skill. So first we'll put together our cunnings, okay, and we'll say that's 1, 2, it's two dice right here for cunning. It's your natural skill. I say, how many dots do you have in deception? That's lying. Looks down, is like, oh no. Looks like Tilly's pretty honest. She never practices lying, so it's a first time thing for her. She has 2. And I'll say, well, the goon isn't an idiot in terms of knowing that the boss hasn't been around. And so I'll say the difficulty is 3. You need 3 successes. And you look at your dice and you think, you know what? As much of a math wizard as I am, I don't think I can get 3 successes. Well, here's where the interesting part comes in. You can spend 1 aspect point in that characteristic. So in this case, cunning, you have ego. She can spend an ego, and that's her really, really, really trying. Okay, so I spend a point. And when you do that, you can convert 1 blue dice, a natural dice, into a skill dice. Now you do have the opportunity to make 3 successes multiple ways. Okay, so she spends the point, and she's like, okay, fingers crossed, let's see if this goon believes me. So we roll the dice, and what do we have here? Well, we have a success and a rejuvenation. Now with that rejuvenation, we can either recover the point here, go back from a 3 to a 4, or we can use this to reduce the challenge rating by 2. And I think Tilly would rather escape than to get her 1 ego point back, so that's what happened. She tells the lie, the goon sort of scratches his head, says, welcome to the team, Tilly, and then there we go. Okay, so for now, that's, I think, enough. The system's pretty easy. I designed it with my daughter and her friends, who were 11 years old at the time, as sort of a test bed, and they got it just fine within 10 minutes. I hope you enjoy that. Let me know in the comments down below if you have any questions or about the system or other things that you'd like to hear about. Our next video will likely be about the character sheet and maybe a little more about the world. Okay, I'm looking forward to sharing more videos on a frequent basis with you guys as we lead up to Gen Con 2026 and releasing the books soon. Okay, have a fantastic rest of your day. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and talk to you soon. You need 2 successes to escape. Okay, so Tilly would roll the dice. Oh no, all blanks. What happens if we roll all blanks? Well, if you roll all blanks, then you would roll the critical die to see if you get not a critical success, but a critical failure. So we roll the dice. It's not the critical failure. It's okay. You just got no successes. You failed. Okay? Again. Hi, I'm Thomas Marshall with Turtle and... Stop pointing at people. Hi, I'm Thomas Marshall with Turtle and Phoenix Entertainment. I'm here today to talk to you. Blah, 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 blah. We're working on Djura, tabletop role-playing game where you can play as any kind of animal you want in over 40 career types. Okay, in this game, you're going to be able to play as like a multitude of 30 to possibly even 40 careers. Who could say? Okay, no, we shouldn't say that. And